Hello and welcome back to the Tata Steel Chess Tournament round 6, and from this round I'm going to show you now a very tactical game. So far we had very many endgames, but this time it's going to be a very complicated middle game that's going to be mainly about pushing pawns, as the title suggests. And this game is actually played by Alireza Firouzja, so the youngster from the black side, and the opponent from the white side is Alexander Donchenko, who just made a draw yesterday against Magnus Carlsen with essentially perfect defense. So let's get immediately started with the game. So Donchenko started with d4. Alireza is going to play the semi-Slav, but a very strange move order, knight c3 and bishop b4 here. After knight f3, d takes c4, e3 and b5, we're actually going to go to a so-called Notenboom variation. And this is actually really is a variation about pushing pawns, so you will see that sort of the tabia position is going to be already about pawns. So this is all mainline theory: bishop d2, a5, and white takes on b5, bishop c3, c takes b5, b3, bishop b7, and we already see that there is this pawn structure that's very typical to this Notenboom variation. Black has these two pawns to push on the queen side, but white has a very strong center and also the advantage of the two bishops. But this is still very mainline theory. Bishop b2, knight f6, bishop d3, castle, castle, knight bd7, knight d2, this is all very well known, e5, bishop c2, queen c7. And now we are starting to approach the new territory. It is still played before, however the players started to think, so that suggests that they are out of their book. So here comes h3. Actually the computer suggests the move d5 and says that it's very strong for white. However, it's very hard to make such a move because then you give a very strong outpost to the opponent's knight. However, this also shuts down this bishop. So I'm not surprised that Donchenko played another move. However, I do see why the computer likes this. So now comes the move h3, rook e8, and actually here comes the sort of novelty. So the new position arises after bishop b3. However, this is very obvious that this was not prepared. Now comes h6, knight f3, and rook a6. So the point of Alireza is probably to either double up on this file or to make sure that there is enough control over these squares. Because actually his pawn on e5 is still hanging. So I didn't mention this before, and now we will see that white is going to take. However, this was never a good idea to take, nor is it in this position. So the problem with taking, let's say knight e5 as came in the game, is that now you take and comes knight d7, and similar as before, this d4 pawn, as used to be on d4, was the one that took control over the c5 square, but now there is no more pawn there, and the black knight is going to jump to c5, and that knight is just going to be way too dominant. So this was actually quite a bad idea from white side, and now it seems that black can take control over the game. So first of all, his pawn is hanging, so Donchenko decided to protect this, but now the black knight jumps to c5. Comes bishop c2 and a4. And now you can see that why this game is about pawns, because you are pushing here as black. White would like to push this one further, so play something f5, e6, maybe if you take with the pawn, then even f6, and opening up the position as much as possible. So now comes actually f5. Black also pushes with b3. Bishop needs to go back, and here we can actually stop for a second. So it's very obvious that white has these two bishops and these two pawns, and you just want to play e6, f6 and try to checkmate the black king. Positionally, black is more or less winning. His pawns are at some point going to queen, so there's not much white can do about them. So all white can do here is try to go for the attack. And also, actually, if these pawns are ever lost or the position opens up in the center, the e3 pawn, the c4 pawn can be also very weak, and at some point also the white king can be weakened. But still there is this potential of e6, f6, so black needs to take care of this. And in this position there is a very human move, which thankfully also supported by the computer, which is by far the strongest. And I'm quite surprised that I missed this opportunity. However, now you can stop the video and find a way to basically get a very clear advantage with the black pieces. So right now as black you are down one pawn. However, the best move here is to sacrifice another one, playing the move a3. And the point is that you really want to take this e5 pawn. And once you take the e5 pawn, so takes, and queen e5, once you do this, white's potential to attack is just essentially 0. This pawn is hanging, the black pieces are incredibly strong. Also this b3 pawn is still a very strong piece, restricts this bishop, and also the white king starts to look weaker and weaker. There is this long diagonal open. There's essentially one move that comes to mind that as black you have to really check that it doesn't work, which is queen d4. Because now it seems like quite a strong move. You want to exchange the queens, and if black would ever take on d4, so if you take, then white can take back with the pawn, strengthening the pawn structure, and all of a sudden white is doing very well. And in the meantime, this knight is also hanging. But black has a very nice intermediate move, queen g3, attacking this pawn, and after this black is just simply doing very well. However, Alireza missed this chance, and he just simply played the move rook back. If you remember, this rook just came up there, and it's just giving up a tempi, and now white comes with a very schematic breakthrough. So here comes e6, as I advertised several times. And of course the point is if black would take, then comes f6, and well, the black king is just going to be checkmated. These are the two bishops, another one, here's the rook, the queen is going to join the party, and this is just checkmate. The computer says like +10 or something. Even though there is no material yet, this is just unstoppable. So for e6, obviously you cannot take. Alireza plays the move queen g3. So now you're attacking this pawn, and here Donchenko made actually a huge mistake. So you have to somehow protect this g2 pawn, obviously, but you also have to foresee what black's way to defend will be. And black's only move here you're really threatening to either take an f6 or f6 immediately, so black is going to react by pushing his pawn to f6. And once you have this g7 f6 h6 structure like this one, so this is going to be like this, your way to break through is going to be with your other pawn, pushing this up to a5. So white's best move here is actually queen e2, which not only protects this pawn, but once comes f6, now you can push e4 and e5, and well, black is in a huge danger. But Donchenko missed this opportunity. He played the move rook f2, and now comes f6, and here even in this position the best move would have been just to play queen e2 and try to push this pawn. However, Donchenko, probably in the shade of the time trouble, he started to go down. He played the move bishop d4, but this also actually just invites the black knight to go into the camp of white and play the move knight e4. And well, so now comes really the strategic sort of resignation. White really needs to play a move like rook f4 and try to keep the bishops and try to get some counterplay in the king side. However, white took on e4, and after bishop e4 we can actually stop for a second. So we reach this opposite colored bishop position. White is, I believe, is up a pawn, but that's not the main point here. So black still has this very strong queenside pass pawn, connected pass pawns, and also now with the opposite colored bishops, black really wants to attack the white king. So what black would like to do here is, well, first try to attack some pawns, whether he can take them, probably it's not going to work, and then at some point push these pawns, potentially sacrificing more pawns to just open up these files and then checkmate the white king. And we will see that this is actually quite a straightforward plan. So here comes rook a3, try to blockade, rook c8, c5 protecting this pawn, the king goes away, it's a very good prophylactic move, queen d2, and in this position Alireza decided that this is the time to open up the position and go after the white king. So he played the move b2. However, this seemed to be a bit rushed because now white actually does have a defense. So here white could take with the bishop. Alireza's point was obviously to take here with the rook, and now there comes rook c2, which seems a very strong move. However, white can actually defend. Can play the move queen d4, which is a double attack here and here, and once you take on f2 with your rook, now there is this attack on this rook, but here actually white can take on e4, sacrificing a whole rook here, so basically an exchange, queen f2, and after king h2 the position is super complicated. there is this strong pin, there is also this other rook hanging, and the position is very, very complicated. So this would have been a way to continue. However, Donchenko decided to take with the queen, and here Alireza has a winning attack. So he continues with rook b8, queen a2, now comes the check, and actually you don't even have to sacrifice material any further. You already sacrificed quite some pawns, but after rook f1 you can just put your other rook behind, and there is no way white can defend. And after queen f2, there comes take, rook b1 check, and after king e2, actually I invite you to stop the video here and find the nicest way to win for black. So the point is that obviously the opposite color bishops, there are these light squares that are completely unprotected because there's no light square bishop of white. So black is just attacking essentially a piece up, and also this rook is pretty much out of the game. So white's actually black's has just too much material to attack. And the best way here to win is not to sacrifice anything any further. Just put your queen actually all the way back and make it disappear on the light square. Queen b5 check comes, and the game will be just immediately over. Well, Donchenko played for a few more moves, but this is actually checkmate. So queen b5 check, king d2, now queen b4 check, and this is actually it. Your rook is gone. So now comes bishop c3. You cannot, so queen b4, if you make this move, then, well, I think the easiest is just queen b2 check. It's the only move, and checkmate. So Donchenko sacked the rook, but it doesn't help too much. Takes, and after queen c1, king d3, queen f1 check, he even resigned, but probably made the move king d4, but this is just checkmate. So yeah, this was it. Alireza again with a beautiful attacking game, and yeah, just checkmate, he won. So with this game, Alireza is now up to, I think, +1. So he is now really chasing the leaders of Karzan, Caruana, and so on. And actually all those games are still on when I'm doing this video, so I cannot tell you what happened in those ones. Yeah, but that's about it. And yeah, so we are reaching, oh, not yet half time, it's round 6 only. So yeah, there's still a lot of games left. So see you next time.